Hello and welcome. My name is Savannah and I'm so happy that you have joined me for class. Today is day 2 of your 7-day yoga challenge and we will be focusing on the lower body in today's class. Please note that this is your practice, this is your time on your mat, so please do what works good for you. If a pose or a movement isn't feeling right in your body today, you can change it, you can modify it, add on anything that you like, take away anything that is not working well for you, and make this feel right for you and how you are feeling today. Take breaks, take water whenever you need. You can press pause and join back in when you are ready by pressing play. We will begin in a comfortable seated position before we get moving. Let's start by centering in, connecting with the body, with the breath, and noticing how we are feeling. Ground down through your sit bones, through your hips, and your lower body. Allow the shoulders to stack over top of your hips and the crown of the head reaches up towards the ceiling. Find more space along the length of your spine. And then when you feel ready, begin to become aware of your breath. Notice each inhale and notice each exhale. Are you breathing through your nose or through your mouth? Maybe you're breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Is your inhale longer than your exhale? Or maybe your exhale is longer than your inhale. What else can you notice about your breath right now? Perhaps your breath is smooth and steady and even. Or maybe it is a little bit more rough and choppy and uneven. Start to come fully into your breath. Allow your mind and your body to arrive right here, right now. And notice how you are feeling today. Physically, how the body is feeling, and also mentally and emotionally. Notice the kinds of thoughts you are having and the emotions you are experiencing. Do your best not to judge anything as right or wrong, or good or bad. And simply work on allowing it to be what it is. Take a couple of more breaths here in this seated position, grounding down through the hips, lifting up through the heart and the chest, the upper body. The crown of the head lifts up towards the sky. From here, come into a tabletop position on hands and knees. Shoulders will stack over top of your wrists and your hips will stack over top of your knees. Ground down into all 10 fingers. Fingers are spread nice and far apart. Tuck your toes under. Let's get right into working the legs. Lift your knees up just to a hover, moving into bear pose or hovering tabletop. Lifting the knees up just to that hover, grounding down through the hands, and the balls of the feet. The crown of the head reaches forward. Fingers are spread nice and far apart. You're probably feeling this in your quadriceps, the fronts of the thighs. You might also be feeling this in your shoulders and your core. Good, set the knees down. Bring the big toes to touch, knees farther apart or closer together, it's up to you. Sit the hips back onto your heels, take a quick child's pose. The forehead can rest down onto the mat. The arms can stretch out in front of you or alongside your body. Begin to come back into that tabletop. Hands and knees, all fours. Tuck all 10 toes under, lift your knees up just to a hover. We'll hold right here for a few big breaths in and out through the nose. But if there is another way of breathing that you prefer, you can do that. Just a little bit longer. Feel your quadriceps, the fronts of your thighs working a lot here. Good, bring the knees down. Sit back into a quick child's pose. Just one full breath. Come back to tabletop. From here, we're going to be lifting and lowering the right leg. And I'm just going to turn to face you so you can see a little bit better. So we're in tabletop. The right leg is bent at 90 degrees. Lift it up. Inhale, exhale, lower. We'll do about 5 of these. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. 3 more. Allow the weight to be spread evenly in both hands, so you're not leaning over towards one side more than the other. Let's do 2 more. Last one here. Good. From here, inhale, lift up, extend the leg long, bend it, lower it down. We'll do about 5 of these. Lift it up, extend, bend, lower. Lift, extend, bend, lower. 3 more. Last one right here. And let's go right over to the other side. So the left leg will lift up, inhale, exhale, lower. So we're keeping the leg bent this whole time. Leg is bent to about 90 degrees. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. 1 more. Exhale, lower. From here, lift it up and then extend the leg out to the side. Bend it, lower it down. We'll do about 4 more of those. Two more. Last one just like that. Lift it up, extend, bend, and lower it down. From here, extend your right leg straight out to the side. Trying to lift it up nice and high, maybe to the level of your hips or to the height of your hips, and hold it here for just a little bit longer. Good, release, bring the right knee back down to the ground. Left leg will lift up straight to the left side. maybe to the level or the height of your hips, and hold it here for just a little bit longer. Engage your core. Allow the shoulders to be over top of your wrists. Good, release. From here, tabletop position, tuck your toes under, lift your knees up just to a hover. Bring your right heel to your right hip. Engaging the hamstring, the back of the right leg. Keeping the left knee nice and close to the ground. Release. Bring your knees down. Take a quick child's pose. Sit the hips back down onto your heels. Arms reach out in front of you. Take a couple of breaths here. One more full breath in your child's pose. Come back to tabletop, and let's try that hovering tabletop variation on the other side. So tuck the toes under, lift your knees up just to that hover, and left heel will lift up towards the left glute, the left hip. Keep the right knee very close towards the ground. Hold it here for just a little bit longer. Good, release the knees down. Stay in your tabletop here. Fingers are spread nice and far apart. Find any movement that feels good for you. Maybe taking the hips forward and then back. Maybe finding some cat-cows as you arch and round the spine. Finding anything that feels really natural and intuitive for your body right now. Let's bring the hands a little bit farther out in front. Tuck all 10 toes under. Lift the hips up and back into your first downward facing dog of class. Pedal it out, bending one knee as you straighten into the other. Find any movement that feels good for you. From here, walk your hands to your feet, back of the mat, bending your knees as you come. Once you're there, inhale, halfway lift, bring your hands onto your shins. Reach your heart forward. Exhale to fold. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Exhale, sit your hips low, come into chair pose. Inhale, come up to stand. Exhale, fold down over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands down. Walk out to plank. Take the hips back. Downward facing dog. Stay right here in your down dog for a couple of breaths. The knees can be as bent as they need to be, and the heels can be lifted up off of the mat as well. Let's move through that flow once again. Walk your hands back to your feet. Back of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, reach your heart forward. Exhale to fold. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Exhale, chair pose, sit the hips low, arms reach up overhead. Inhale, come up to stand. Exhale to fold down over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands come onto the shins. Reach the heart forward. Plant the hands down. Walk yourself out to plank. And then downward facing dog as you exhale. Walk your hands back to your feet, back of the mat. One more time through that flow. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold over the legs. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Exhale, sit the hips low, arms reach up overhead, chair pose. Can you sit the hips even farther down towards the ground? Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Exhale, fold down over the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands down, walk yourself out to plank, and then send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Make sure that your fingers are spread nice and far apart in your downward facing dog, and your knees can be as bent as they need to be as well. Step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. From here, left foot will step to the outside of the left hand. Hands come together at heart center. Sit the hips low. Malasana. Plant the hands down. Step the left foot back. And then the right foot back. Downward facing dog. Lift the hips up. We'll move through this several times, working into the hips and the legs. Left foot steps to the outside of the left hand. Right foot steps to the outside of the right hand. Hands together at heart center, Malasana. Plant the hands down. Right foot steps back. Left foot steps back. Downward facing dog. Right foot steps up. Top of the mat, left foot steps up. Malasana, hands together at heart center. Plant the hands down, left foot steps back, right foot steps back, downward facing dog. Left foot steps, right foot steps, hands together, Malasana. Plant the hands down, step your right foot back, left foot back, downward facing dog. From here, inhale, look forward. Exhale, make your way to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands come to the shins. Reach your heart forward. Exhale to fold. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands together at heart center. Inhale, reach the arms up. Chair pose, sit the hips down. Feet can be together or hip distance apart. It's up to you. Bring the right knee into the chest. Left knee straightens out, coming to stand with the right knee into the chest. From here, hands together at heart center. Bring the right foot back. Bring the right knee down. Reach your arms up. Bring your hands down to the mat. Tuck your right toes under, lift up the right knee. Walk your hands over towards the long edge of your mat. Toes out, heels in. Come into your goddess pose. Sit the hips nice and low. Inhale to stand, straighten the arms, straighten the legs, arms overhead. Exhale to squat. Inhale to stand. Exhale to squats. Come back to the top of your mat, hands plant down, downward facing dog. Step the left foot back. Inhale to look forward. Exhale to make your way to the top of your mat. When you're ready, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, come all the way up. To stand, arms reaching up overhead. Exhale, hands together at heart center. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, sit the hips low. Bring the left knee in towards the chest, standing on the right leg. Hands together at heart center. Step the left foot back. Bring the left knee down. Arms reach up. Left toes can be tucked or untucked. Low lunge. From here, bring the hands to frame the right foot. Tuck the left toes under. Lift the left knee. Walk your hands over towards the long edge of your mat. Toes out, heels in. Goddess pose. Hands can be together at heart center or out into cactus arms or hands on your hips, whatever you like. We're going to hold here for a few breaths. One more big full breath. Inhale to lengthen, straighten the arms, straighten the legs. Exhale, squat down. Inhale to stand, arms up overhead. Exhale to squat down. One more, inhale. Exhale, goddess pose. Turn towards the front of your mat. Hands frame the right foot. Fingers spread nice and far apart. Step the right foot back. Lift the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Let's move through that flow one more time on each side. Inhale to look forward. Exhale, make your way to the top of your mat, stepping or hopping. Inhale, halfway lift. Reach your heart forward. Exhale to fold down over the legs. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Exhale, chair pose, sit the hips low. Bring the right knee in towards your chest, standing on the left leg. Hands together at heart center. Step the right foot far back behind you, lower the right knee down. Reach the arms up overhead. Bring the hands down to frame the left foot. Tuck the right toes under. Lift up the right knee. Walk your hands over towards the long edge of your mat. Toes out, heels in. Hands at heart center, sit the hips low, goddess pose. Your arms can be wherever you like them. They don't have to be at heart center. We'll hold here for a couple of breaths. You can shift the weight from side to side or do some pulses, lifting and lowering, very small movements, or find stillness in the pose. Inhale, starfish, lengthening out, coming to stand. Exhale, hands together at heart center, squat down. Inhale, stand, reach up. Exhale, goddess. Inhale, last time. Exhale, goddess. Turn towards the front of your mat. Hands come down to frame the left foot. Step the left foot back. Lift the hips up. Downward facing dog. Stay in your downward facing dog for one full breath here before we take it over to the other side. Look forward, inhale. Exhale, make your way to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale, come all the way up to stand. Exhale, squat the hips down low towards the ground, chair pose, arms reach up overhead, or hands together at heart center if you prefer. Good, bring the hands together at heart center, come to stand on the right leg, left knee comes in towards the chest. Step the left foot all the way back to the back of your mat, bring the left knee all the way down, toes can be tucked or untucked. Reach the arms up. Full breath here, in and out through the nose or the mouth if that feels better for you. Bring the hands down, tuck the left toes under, lift up the left knee. Walk your hands over towards the long edge of your mat. Come up, shoulders over hips. Big bend in the knees. Arms can be however you like them. We'll stay here for a couple of breaths. Breathing however feels good for you right now. And you can shift the weight from side to side or find little pulses, very small movement. Or you can find complete stillness in the pose. One more breath. Inhale, lengthen, starfish. Exhale, goddess. One more time, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, goddess. Turn towards the front of your mat. Hands come down to frame your right foot. Fingers are spread nice and far apart. Step the right foot back to downward facing dog. Pedal out through the legs. Find any movement that feels good for you right now. Step your right foot through, top of your mat. Lower the left knee down, untuck the left toes, bring your hands up onto your right thigh. We'll stay here for a few big breaths. Working on slowing down the breath, slowing down the heart rate as we near the end of our time together on our mat. Lengthen out through the spine. Reach the crown of the head up, shoulders stack over top of the hips. Ground it down through the right foot and the left knee. Take one more full breath. Bring your hands down to frame your right foot. Fingers spread nice and far apart. Tuck the left toes under, lift up the left knee. Step the right foot back. Downward facing dog. Right away, let's step the left foot up, top of the mat. Bring the right knee down. You can untuck the right toes. Bring the hands up onto the left thigh. We'll stay here for about 5 breaths, grounding down to the left foot and the right knee. Think of having really good posture here, finding more space through the spine, gazing forward, keeping the neck nice and long as well. One more full breath. Great, so let's bring the hands down to the mat next to the left foot. Tuck the right toes under, lift up the right knee. Step the left foot back. Come to downward facing dog. Take one big breath here in your downward facing dog before we lower the knees down. Drop down to your knees, come to a child's pose. Big toes can come to touch. Knees can be as close together or as far apart as you like. Rest the forehead down onto the mat. Settle into this pose. Settle in with your breath. Make the intention to be here right now. If you are looking for more of a stretch, more sensation in the pose, you can bring the knees farther apart, maybe all the way out to the edges of your mat. And if you would like less of a stretch, if you are feeling too much in the pose, You can bring your knees closer towards one another, maybe all the way to touch one another. Take one more breath here. Walk your hands in towards your hips. Shoulders will come over top of your hips and then come to sit to one side of your legs. Legs come out in front of you. Make your way all the way down onto your back, taking as much time as you would like to get there. From here, let's hug the knees into the chest, wrap the arms around the legs, rock from side to side. Keep the right knee hugging into the chest, extend the left leg long towards the top of your mat. Bring the left knee back into your chest. Right leg extends long. Fingers interlace around the left shin. One breath here. Release the left leg down onto your mat. Legs long, arms long. Come into your Shavasana. Final pose of class. Make any adjustments, make any movements that you feel you need to make in order to settle in as much as you can. If it feels okay for you, you can close the eyes. And let go of any control that you had over the breath during practice. Allow the breath to flow however it wants to. Allow your body to soften. Feet flop open towards the sides of the room. Fingers can curl in towards your palms. Your head, neck, and shoulders are heavy. Rest here in your Shavasana, knowing that there is nothing that you need to do right now. And there is nowhere that you have to be. Enjoy this time, taking care of yourself. Allowing the body and the mind to rest. please stay in your Shavasana for as long as you wish, taking all the time that you need. If you enjoyed this class, please subscribe to my channel if you have not already done so you do not miss any of my upcoming classes, including the rest of this challenge. This is a 7-day challenge, so there are 5 more days. I would love to hear any thoughts or feedback from this class. And if you have any suggestions or requests for upcoming classes, you can leave those in the comments of this video as well. I would love to hear how this challenge is going for you so far. I really hope that you are enjoying it. But any feedback is welcome, as always. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Namaste.